Welcome to your Pilates mat workout. Today you're going to need your Pilates mini ball and your mat. If you haven't done so already, mamas, please watch my Back to Basics Deep Core and Pelvic Floor video. Trust me, don't skip it, because this is going to show you exactly how to connect your deep core, your breath, and your pelvic floor during movement. It's absolutely essential to your success. But as a quick reminder, remember, if I say activate your T-zone, I'm talking about you activating your pelvic floor, so the bottom of the T coming from your pubic bone up, and your transverse abdominis muscles, which is your deep core here. So imagine someone pulling a corset nice and tight behind you. So activating your T-zone is your pelvic floor and your deep core. Listen out for my cues. Please listen to your bodies and just have a little bit of fun. Alright, let's get going. Grabbing onto that small Pilates ball, coming nicely onto the side of your mat here. I want a nice long line between your hand, your shoulders, your hips, and your legs. Putting that ball down, you're going to put your top knee onto that ball so it's nicely rested at a 90-degree angle. I like to put my hand here to support myself, but you can also pop your head down with this. We're just going to start with a few deep core and pelvic floor activation exercises. So putting your hand on your belly, we're going to inhale, relaxing your pelvic floor, activating your T-zone, exhale, squeeze that knee down onto that ball. That's going to help you activate your pelvic floor a little bit more. Alright, let's start. Inhale, release and relax the pelvic floor. Activate your T-zone, exhale, belly button to spine, squeeze down nice and gently onto that ball. Inhale, release, breath comes in, exhale, pulling up the pelvic floor, squeezing down on that ball. Exhale. Try and think of your rib cage coming down towards your hips so they're not flaring out. Inhale, release that pelvic floor. Activate that T-zone. Exhale. Ribs to hips. Inhale, relax. Make sure your hips are nice and stacked throughout. Exhale, contract. Let's do a couple more. And contract, pull up. You see here, nothing else is moving. I'm just activating that deep core and pelvic floor. Inhale. And contract. Squeezing that little ball so you're really pushing that activation on that pelvic floor. Inhale. Contract. So my tummy is nice and hard and supported. Last one here. And contract. Really good. So now that you know how to activate your T-zone and you've got that deep core, we're going to inhale, T-zone, exhale, lift that leg up. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Your foot is nice and flexed. Inhale. So now also, if you can't go as far as I'm going to your hip level, and you can only go halfway, that's totally fine. You're going at your level, so just make sure to adjust for your pace and where you are. Everyone's journey is different. Inhale, fill that belly with breath. Exhale, flex that foot, nice and extended. You're going to feel it nicely in your hamstrings and your glutes as well. But of course, this is going to build up a little bit of fire in your hip flexors. During pregnancy, we've got a lot of extra weight coming down. We've got the baby growing and puts a lot of pressure onto our hips, so we've really got to work it nicely afterwards. A few more here, ladies. Inhale, exhale. Ribs to hips, so they're not flaring out. Shoulders back and down. Last one here. Stay up there, and we're just going to flex up with these little pulses, many pulses. So it's a really gentle movement. It's nice and small, but it really gets a bit of fire here, here. A few more here. Remember, your hips are nice and stacked. 3, 2, Last one, and release, bringing that knee down, grabbing hold of that ball but keeping your knee still at that 90-degree angle. We're just going to use that ball to help us as a little pillow to support us. Find it much more comfortable. Getting your hand, placing it behind your neck. You're going to inhale, fill the belly with breath. Bring that elbow down. Exhale, you're going to tighten that core and just gently pull back, opening up the thoracic spine. Inhale. Release. So whilst we're doing this, we're activating our T-zone. We're making sure our ribs are not flaring up. So we're making just sure our positioning is great for all the movement. So we're really talking about mindful movement here. And you're only opening up as far as you can. Again, my hips are not moving, it's just my upper body. A few more here. This one's really, really great for breastfeeding because we tend to roll our shoulders inwards. And it does take toll on our bodies. We've got to keep our posture really strong and upright. Last one here. Good. Now we're just going to do 4 more, but this time we're going to do it with a nice open hand. So just reaching out. And again, just coming back as far as you can. Inhale. Exhale. So you don't want to overexert here. It's just a nice stretch. Last one. I'm watching my hand as I go because that helps me stretch and go further, a little bit further into the movement. And release. Really good job. So just taking hold of that ball and just placing it out to one side. We're going to come in at about 30% in front of our hips here. Put your hand just up here to prop yourself up. It's just much more comfortable. I'm going to start with some open clams. So inhale, T-zone. Exhale, lift yourself so your knee is in line with your hip, and that's our starting position, and we're going to open and close. Open and close. It's a really easy, just a little gentle movement here just to get us going. Trust me, it might seem it's a little bit in disguise, this movement, because it's a slow burn, but it's always the slow and steady who wins the race, isn't that right? You want to be exhaling on the lift of this movement. Inhale down, exhale lift. Inhale down, exhale lift. Inhale T-zone, exhale lift. Inhale T-zone, exhale lift. So you're squeezing your glutes as you lift up. So even just before you lift up, you want to squeeze those glutes. And now I'm really starting to feel it. I'm sure you guys are too. Few more here. 3. Last one. 1. Really good. We're going to bring those knees together so you've got a knock knee. So you're going to internally rotate that knee, but make sure your hips are nice and stacked and there's still that nice long line between your body. So internally rotating those knees, we're just going to inhale, T-zone, exhale, lift up. Inhale, T-zone, exhale, lift up. Inhale, exhale. So we're just kind of kicking it back ever so slightly. It's a nice tiny movement. And if I inhale, I'm really activating those deep core and pelvic floor muscles. So you can pop your hand in front here if you like, or on your hip. So we're working our butt on all angles here, which is really great as it really supports your hips. It supports your deep core, and it's your stability really. So we really mustn't forget all angles of the butt when we work out. Really good. Few more here, guys. Stay with me. 3, 2. Let's go for 1 more. 1. Okay, bringing both knees and feet together. Your heels are going to go nice and tight. Place your one hand here in front of you. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, lift up those legs. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, squeeze the glute before you open up that knee, keeping those heels together. Inhale. Squeeze the glute before you open up the knee. Ribs to hips, so your ribs aren't flaring out. If you want to make this movement harder, open up a little bit wider, but make sure that your hips are not rocking from side to side. And if you want to make it a little bit easier, then just open up a little bit less. And also, if you want to take it down a notch, you can always pop your 2 feet down onto the ground like this, and you can do it down on the ground. But for this movement, I'm suggesting that you do it up in the air. Alright, keep going. That's it. Making sure that T-zone is activated as you inhale, activate that T-zone. Exhale, you should be opening up that knee. 3, 2, 1. We're going to do the Charleston. So you're going to lift up, that knee comes in, the knee goes out. So internally rotate, externally rotate, whilst the leg is nice and lifted. Wow, I can feel that is getting fiery in here, let me tell you. Few more. 2, 1. Really good. Bringing both knees down. You can tap that out a little bit because I certainly need it. You can feel it right here on that glute. You're going to really extend that leg there, making sure you reset your body so you're in a nice long line, okay? So that line between your elbow, your shoulder, your hips, and your feet. Here you're going to use your top leg. We're going to lift it up, but we're going to make sure that toe, see, watch my toe, really important, it points down. So you're internally rotating that toe, that leg so that the toe falls towards the floor. And we're going to inhale, T-zone, exhale, lift up. Inhale, T-zone, exhale, lift up. Exhale, lift up. So remember, you're activating that deep core and that pelvic floor just before you lift up that leg. Making it harder, lift up a little bit higher, but make sure your hips do not wobble around. If you want to make it easier, don't lift as high. Really good, guys. Make sure that toe stays internally rotated so it's pointed down and it doesn't try to fly off to another angle, because this movement is really hitting your glute medius, which is your tiny butt muscle, which we often leave out, and it's a really good supporter. Okay, keep that toe pointing down. I know it's hurting. A few more here. Make sure those ribs are not flaring out, that they're tucking right in and that your core is nice and tight. 3, 2, 1. We're going to do a little bit of a burner. So we're going to lift it up, make sure that toe is pointed down. Keep it up there, keep it up there. I know, stay with me. And we're just going to pulse, 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 pulse. 5, 4, 3. Keep those ribs nice and tight. 2, 1. Release. Really good. Stretch it out, stretch it out. Nice job, guys. From here, we're going to take that top leg and we're going to bring it here to about our thigh level, just as like a nice stand. You're going to inhale, make sure there's that nice long line, your hips are nice and stacked. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, lift up, flex that foot, squeezing that inner thigh. Point, flex, back down. Inhale, T-zone. Lift, point, flex, back down. Let's keep going. Remember to watch those hips. They're not rocking around. You want to watch the ribs as well, that they're pushing down towards your hips, so it's nice and tight. If you want to make it harder, lift that leg a little bit more. Squeeze that inner thigh. Remember to connect your breath. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, lift up. Support your core. Keep going, a few more here. Last one like this. Really good. Up, let's hold it there, and small pulses. Pulse, 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 pulse. Tiny little movements that really builds up that fire. 3, 2, 1. Point that toe. We're going to do nice circles there. So again, you're just going to inhale for a few circles and then exhale for a few circles. Keeping that core nice and tight, nice and supported. 2, 1, and release. Release. Really good job, guys. Stretch it out there. If you want to just tap out, again, you can. Grabbing hold of that mini ball, coming onto your backs. Right, what you want to do is make sure your spine is nice and neutral. Placing that mini ball in between your legs are about hip width apart. Your hands are softly on the mat, shoulders back and down, chin tucked in. Inhale, belly comes up, T-zone. Exhale, roll up nice and slowly, making sure the rib cage comes towards your hips and you're squeezing that mini ball ever so slightly. Inhale. Exhale. So you're squeezing that mini ball nice and gently. Inhale. Just like you're gently lifting that pelvic floor. So when you're lifting up that pelvic floor, you're not doing a huge hard contraction at all. It's just a gentle soft lift. Inhale. T-zone. Squeeze that mini ball just nice and softly, because it makes you work that pelvic floor a little bit harder. It really goes hand in hand with your deep core and pelvic floor. Don't let those ribs flare out. Squeezing those glutes at the top. You want to make sure you lift those hips nice and high with being able to control those ribs. So making sure they don't flare outwards. You're lifting the hips, pulling the ribs towards your hips. Making sure your core is nice and compact. Squeeze that mini ball. Let's go for 2 more here. Last one. And bring it down. We're going to do one final one, but this time, this is optional. If you want to add a little bit of level on there, lift up, squeeze up. Make sure your core is nice and supported, and place that ball underneath you. Ribs to hips, holding a little isometric hold here, and try not to touch the ball. And then you're just going to open and close with those knees. Open, close, squeezing those glutes, activating that deep core, ribs to hips. 2, 1, and really nice job. Bringing that ball under, bringing those knees in towards your chest. Rolling it out a little bit here, side to side, nice and round. And then safely coming up on your side, we're going to switch over to the other side. Alright, really great job. So we've done a lot of our deep core and pelvic floor activation here. So we're going to skip that first exercise. So we're just going to go straight using that core as a pillow so that thoracic spine opener. So bringing that leg up to 90 degrees. Inhale. Exhale, open that up. Activating that deep core. Inhale. So as an option here, you can do this long arm, so the open book exercise, or as your second option, you can just have it as the elbow opening up the thoracic spine, whichever one you prefer. Remember, it's great for breastfeeding. Amazing for your posture. Make sure your hips are nice and stacked. Really good. Adjust the ball anytime you need. Last one here. And release. Grabbing hold of that mini ball, propping yourself up. The ball comes underneath your knee. Make sure there's a nice long line and your hips are nice and stacked. Inhale. T-zone. Exhale. Bring that leg up. Inhale. Really good. So again, just activating those hip flexors. If you can't come as high as I am with the hip, with the extended leg, then just go a little bit lower. That's totally fine. Everyone's at a different journey. It's a really good one for stretching out those hamstrings, firing up your hip flexors. One more. Remember, we're going to go into those little mini pulses. Let's go. Pulse, 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 pulse. Ribs to hips, nice and tight. Everything is fully supported. You're all working as a team. Yeah, really good job. 2, 1. Amazing. Grabbing hold of that mini ball, just placing it to the side there. You can remain propped up, bring your legs 30% in front of your knees. We're going to go straight into that open clam. So inhale, exhale. So remember, your starting position for this move is that your knee is in line with your hip, so it's already slightly elevated. So if you want to make this harder, open wider, you should be inhale, activating your T-zone. Exhale, lift up that knee. So you're exhaling on the harder part of the movement. Your deep core is fully activated as you lift that knee up. Really good. A few more here, because we need quite a few reps on the other side. Making sure those ribs are not flaring up. So it's a little tiny movement, but it really adds a lot to your successful journeys. Because this exercise is really activating your glutes, it's working your deep core, your pelvic floor. So you've got a lot going on there. 2, 1, coming, closing those knees. So remember that knock knee, so you're internally rotating without making your hips collapse. So internally rotate and you're pushing up and down. So you should be inhaling, T-zone, exhaling, push up. If you want to go a bit slower for this, just so that you can get that breath and deep core movement coordination, then go ahead and go a little bit slower. I'd rather you have quality reps here over quantity. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, push out. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, push out. You should be squeezing that glute before you even open that leg. Making sure that your knee doesn't flare out, because it tends to do that. We really want to point that knee down and internally rotate it. That's where you're going to get more bang for your buck. 3, 2, 1. Really good. Coming down. If you need to tap out, then tap out there. Lift up those knees. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale. Exhale. So again, here you're squeezing those glutes before you're opening up those knees. If you want to make it harder, open up even wider. Keep those heels together, ladies. Keep those heels together. Make sure those ribs are coming down to your hips. Your shoulders are back and down. 2, 1. Hold it open here. Hold it so it's nice and squeezed. We're getting a little bit of an isometric hold. Love those at the end. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And bring that knee down. Okay, bring it back up. Actually, I've forgotten your Charleston. So let's lift up. Open up. We're going to do the Charleston. So inhale, T-zone. Bring that knee in and out. In and out. We're dancing. Hey, hey, hey. All right, squeeze that glute. Ribs to hips. Few more. 3, my glute is on fire. 2, last one. 1, open up, close, bring it down. You can tap that out, really good. So again, here you can put your hand nicely straight out like this, or you can keep supporting your head with your hand. Bringing your right leg up like a leg stand. You're going to inhale, T-zone, exhale, lift up, flex that foot, squeeze the inner thigh, point, flex, back down. T-zone. Making it harder, lift that leg even higher without rolling those hips back and forth. Make sure those ribs are not flaring out. Really good. Squeeze that inner thigh. Tiny movement again, but it's really does the trick. 2 more, let's go for 2 more. Last one. I want to go up and I want to hold it there. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And we're going to pulse, 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 pulse. Tiny pulses, keeping that deep core nice and tight. Ribs to hips. 2, 1, release. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, lift up, point that toe. Let's draw those circles. Really mindful movement. Thinking about where we want to go with our foot. Activating our deep core. Last one here. Hold at the top, hold at the top, hold at the top. Release. Amazing job, guys. Grab hold of that mini Pilates ball, rolling back onto your backs. Ball goes straight in the middle. We're going to go straight into those glute bridges. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze and hold that mini ball. Inhale. T-zone. Exhale. Contract, lifting the pelvic floor. Nice and gently, ribs to hips. Inhale. Spine is nice and neutral. Exhale. Shoulders are back and down. You're squeezing that mini ball. T-zone. Squeeze the ball. Don't let those ribs pop out. Squeezing those glutes as you come up. I like to have an audible exhale because that makes me work my pelvic floor a little bit more as I'm doing the hardest part of the movement. So for this one, that would be coming up with those glutes, squeezing and lifting those hips. Two more here. Last one. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, roll up. Squeeze those glutes. Squeeze that ball. Inhale, release. Bring in that ball. Remember, this is the last challenge. It's optional. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale. Hips nice and high. Make sure those ribs are coming down towards your hips. Squeeze those glutes. And the ball goes underneath you. Here, from here, we're going to open and close. Open and close. Open and close. Deep core is fully activated. That pelvic floor is lifted ever so gently. 2, 1. Bring that ball down. Really nice job, guys. Come on, bring those knees in towards your chest. Nice pull back here. Grabbing hold of that right knee. Extending, if you can, that left foot. Pulling that knee in towards your chest. Keeping it nice and dynamic. But keeping my shoulders on the ground here, so I'm not activating my core too much for this. But I'm just having a nice stretch. 2. Last one. 1. Really good. Bringing that left hand, grabbing hold of your right knee. You're going to pull the right knee down towards the floor. Trying to keep your right shoulder on the ground while you do this. Looking